德玛西亚视频站，视频背景音乐、选手主播天赋符文、隐藏分查询，就在王者学堂。还等什么？赶快扫描微信二维码，关注我们微信吧。喜欢猫咪的你，就来关注我们微信吧。
Priorities on as we get into game 2 and those picks and bans, and the Bard ban coming up for INTZ first up, and UOL with the Jace ban to start it all off.
Yeah, banning Bard on blue side and red side, so clearly really want to keep that pick away from Hylissang. Loves that roaming style Bard, one of the best to do it with the Magical Journey, so a lot of respect to Hylissang with that first ban. Unicorns of Love. Maybe once again we'll see no jungle bans in the draft.
I think we'll probably see Kennen and Syndra be the bans out of Unicorns. They've been targeting the top side. They want to make sure that Syndra doesn't go through. She's such a S-tier pick that you really cannot allow Talkers to have this. If he's able to get solo kills on Orianna, Syndra's going to be even easier.
The scary thing, though, is that that would leave open the Rise unless INTZ want to take it away right now. We talked about how that champion would be pretty pivotal between Talkers and Exile, especially for Exile being able to punish INTZ. Again, they like to roam around. They like to group up as 5. Rise can get that done very early and very efficiently.
So I find the Ashe ban very interesting here, maybe hinting at a first pick Jhin, because Ashe wasn't played earlier, and now they're in a position that there's just so many power picks that you can easily snatch that one, make sure that the Ezreal gets taken away, and learn from the previous game and hopefully take a lane that can really abuse as opposed to succumb to the Ezreal temp.
And that's why the Nidalee ban would actually lean towards that narrative, just because now you're not giving away Nidalee and another powerful pick on the red side if you do first pick Jhin, but the Rise is available and they will deny it away from Exile, so banned in game 1, then snapped up at first pick here.
Yeah, good observation in their strategy, and it seems like the Unicorns of Love are sticking with the Tahm Kench once again, and the Jhin coming out as 80 carry.
I love the response. Jhin Tahm Kench is just a wonderful lane, especially for assisting mid laner. You push and you roam, and you can really utilize the length of both semi-global ultimates from these guys to really punish the Rise. So Rise, if he's against a matchup that can really have kill pressure on him, such as Victor at some point, or even the Orianna, he's going to be in a lot of trouble here.
I mean, you set it up perfectly, Crumbs. Right now, Unicorns of Love are saying this is a race to level 6 because they've already shown that they're able to unlock very early, that they don't just wait for the first tower to fall and then roam towards mid, that they'll get involved from the get-go with Exile, and that's when they really started to take control of the game.
It's going to be explosive.
Definitely will be. We'll see what they decide to go for, taking some time to see what they want to start off or continue their composition with on the sides of INTZ. Maybe pick a jungle up here. Lee Sin would be not giving away too much from that side, and then going towards the next pick. It does seem to be heading towards Olaf once again, and then Caitlyn for 80 carry. Crumb's not that excited.
Yeah, I mean, the Caitlyn is just laning, basically. You win a lane, and then you win through the laning phase by taking the turret, by putting all the efforts to the bottom lane, because you have Rice that can roam. So more attention towards the bottom side seems to be the answer from INTZ, which I'm not so sure is the right answer, because Tahm Kench is quite difficult to punish, as he can just bail out when somebody's right there to abuse. They're going to have to pair this with a Nami or some sort of Zyra. If they do Braum, this strategy will not work.
Yeah, and it is a move that's going to pick up the Lee Sin this time around, and a Cassiopeia in the mid lane for Exile, favorite pick of his as well.
I mean, INTZ really need to go, as you said, Crumbs, for that 2v2 laning. Caitlyn is a very strong laner. You're kind of bereft of options with Ashe banned against that Jhin on 621 before 622 and some of those lethality changes. So going for the laning strength in Caitlyn, but it needs to be laning strength with laner. They go for Braum again here against this Tahm Kench. I think that once again Unicorns will get a very comfortable 2v2.
Oh, thank God. Zyra, yes.
There we go.
Just a hover.
Right.
The hope.
Makes so much more sense.
Hover hand is practically the same thing, so we'll go with it.
I was going to say, but Tahm Kench is still technically on the board as a flex pick in Unicorns of Love current draft. We did see it go into that support position, but if they do lock in the Zyra, that is the potential. See, this is why I also love it in tandem with the Kennen, because it's like daring them, like that has to go into support, otherwise you're going to have a bad time, because Unicorns of Love are thinking, pick Zyra, I dare you, we got the MF.
Yep. And there we go, Kennen for Young in the top lane, definitely something he could prove his worth on, and the bottom lane there of Caitlyn and Zyra from the side of INTZ. We'll see what Unicorns of Love decide to round out their comp with, which would be a top lane pick if they don't decide to put the Tahm Kench top, which we don't think so.
I mean, it could definitely take the Poppy here once again. It's one that would fit the draft just fine on the side. I mean, the laning phase against Kennen's nothing great early, but just like the Jace matchup, you get enough items and you can get through things as Poppy.
And she's gotten so good to the point where before you really needed to utilize the W to keep people out, but now she's so strong that it doesn't matter. If nobody can dash out of it, not a big deal. You're still a tank bot. The ultimate adds so much value to a team fight, especially when you're dealing with the likes of Rise TPing around the map, as well as Kennen. And this is pour everything bottom lane.
Let's talk about the Rise, though. How are you ever getting anywhere near the Jhin when you have the potential for the Cassiopeia with the ultimate as Peel? You've got Poppy, who can also use that ultimate for Peel. Lee Sin kick, Tahm Kench to get away. The safety here for Veritas on one of his traditional utility carries should mean that he should be untouched in team fights.
Yeah, holistically, it doesn't seem like INTZ has made enough changes to put something in the scale versus the Unicorns of Love. If they are going to focus it anywhere, where should it be?
I do think that the composition is just everything towards the bottom lane. You're not going to get that big of an advantage in Poppy after the first base. Poppy will likely use TP topside, come back to the laning phase, and if they use that TP window, hopefully in combination with level 6 on talkers, you can really focus down the bottom lane, crack that first turret, and start moving around the map faster than Unicorns can.
Something that they can do, though, is they have push advantage in pretty much, or INTZ have push advantage in both the top and the bottom side of the map. So unless, if they don't want to play it aggressive, they could just sit and farm the lanes out, have Revolta sit in the jungle as that Olaf, look to duel 1v1 against move, and kind of wait until that big 5v5 breaking point, as opposed to looking for these early 2v2, 3v3 skirmishes that really tore them apart last game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and hopefully it is explosive, and we're going to head over to our casters and get into game 2.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Of course, excited to get into game 2. Now, a little bit more creativity in the picks and bans here than last time, but no Cassiopeia top. When I saw that Orianna hover, I did, not gonna lie, get my hopes up.
He started shouting out, boring, boring.
Don't pick meta.
But yeah,
I mean, I cast in Europe. I get to see these guys all the time, and nothing makes me more happy than like, oh, that's a joke Alawi, hover over, and then like the grin, like, oh no, it's not. Like, yes.
And Unicorns would be the team to do it as well. Always very creative, but right now, this is actually a very predictable draft. I think a lot of this was something that we were able to see coming here when you go back and forth. The question was, does Jockster play the Zyra? The answer is yes. To how well does he play it, though? Because if he's able to play it well, this is the best bully lane that you can have on 621 with Caitlyn Zyra. 100% winning lane against the Jhin Tahm Kench. You shove that in, you get an advantage there. Your mid lane is a losing lane, though, and your top lane is a winning lane for you early on.
It's interesting, too, because it's the second time, of course, we heard the desk top and bot very much in favor. You're completely agreeing here that INTZ, they have the push, they have the early advantage. But I feel like that was the same case in the previous game, at least from what we saw from Orion in the mid lane, the Jhin Braum taking control early, or should have, but it's just a question mark of what is it really going to amount to?
I would say a lot of those are relative skill matchups, but not essentially like the extreme. Caitlyn Zyra is the extreme. Like, Caitlyn Zyra, what is Tahm Kench supposed to do in this lane except just take chip damage and get pushed in? Like, they're going to be playing underneath their turret on Unicorns of Love side, which may open up move to ganking the bottom side, which means Revolta should be around here quite actively. And when we come to the mid game, I want to see what INTZ do, because you heard Papa Smithy talking about it. How are they going to reach Veritas on this? Well, they have the Rise ultimate. Rise ultimate with your Kennen, deliver only him and the Olaf to the back line.
No.
He's dead.
Zyrene. They may not have been creative in the pick ban, but they're going to be creative in the level 1. There's 5 people there. Oh, the exhaust goes down. Jockster's running for his life. Kicks going. Are they going to die?
What?
That was.
Veritas still hits him with the Deadly Flourish, but it wasn't actually a hit that had made it so that it would be a root there on Jockster.
And interesting enough, too, they didn't know Macau was in the bush. They jumped at the first target they saw. They instantly exhausted Jockster, and if they had waited for Macau, they may have been able to grab the kill, but Unicorns of Love go for the early aggressive engage, burn the exhaust, and trade it for 2 flashes.
Yeah, at that point, you might even just like flash as Tahm Kench auto and get a Q, try to slow, and nope.
Either way, of course, advantage to Unicorns of Love may not be quite as big as the potential first blood there, but getting both of those flashes in the early laning phase may make it a little bit easier for Veritas and Hylissang to survive, although do you really think it's going to make a big of a difference in the 2v2?
Only difference it makes is that Move has a much easier time ganking this pre-6. He has a way in, a way to actually take advantage. And Jockster, no flash early on.
No way out here. It's an acquired taste. Hylissang, choosing the life of the vegetarian. Just going to pick that one up for himself.
I get that it's a standard move to invade early like that, but when you don't have your flash, you do have to pivot. You can't do that, and UOL sniff that out, place down the ward, and see it coming.
Everything is up in the air now because Macau and Joxer should have had control here, but Veritas and Hylissang are going to have a huge advantage on the bottom side.
They absolutely threw that away. You saw that Move was on the top side. INTZ had warded inside of the Krug pit. They knew that Move was topside, so they suspected Veritas and Hylissang start on the Gromp. Gromp with Tahm Kench, super easy to take, and then boom, shows up. They were waiting for him, and Joxer, he played it by the book, but when you don't have your flash, it's not right.
And of course, Unicorns of Love just one step ahead, and game of mental warfare here early on. Just sniff out the early attempt to deny the Krug and are just waiting there for Joxer, open arms to pick up that first blood. Now Veritas already level 2. Macau and Joxer, they were behind for at least a few minutes here. Now it's not the end of the world, of course, it's only first blood, it's only 400 gold, but definitely not the start INTZ wanted, especially when they're already down a game.
And now they give up their level 2, they give up a lot of their pressure.
Snares are connecting already. And this is, I mean, this is brutal. The bot lane we expected to be a huge winning point for INTZ, at least in terms of picks, but we saw them fall behind last game, and it seems to be a similar story here in game 2, but it's happening even faster due to that first blood. Now, the good news is Kennen is winning on the top side of the map. You can see on the minimap they're pushing in those waves, and Revolta is doing his best to clear out. Chachi having to give some respect over to Yang here. Yang doing a very good job with his counter pick.
Yeah, and this Kennen will win this lane very early on, and if you can get a large enough advantage, which is Kennen's strength, is you have to get that advantage. It'll eventually evaporate, though, and Poppy will just become unkillable. But at that point, the Kennen needs to go elsewhere and kill other people. But hopefully you just get an advantage in the early game here. You can already see 7 CS up, 6 with everything all accounted for here.
Exile waiting in the wings, does have a ward in the bush. Not sure if he spotted Olaf move in initially. You have to be careful now. He's going to get snared up. Talker's not going to look for any chain CC.
Don't know if you actually saw him. He's standing on a ward. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Saw him once he left the bush. Revolta, I mean, potentially an excellent gank opportunity there. Surprisingly, Cassio's still playing very forward, but Lee Sin is on the way in.
He's playing very forward right now because if Olaf ends up going into the jungle and then trying to go for a sneaky route, you can collapse much faster than the Ryze. And the Cassiopeia just crushes the Ryze early on.
And you can see Ryze burning through all that mana, no Tear of the Goddess to keep him sustained. And they do still have eyes on Revolta, so no tricky pathing or moves available. Talkers does have the push in his favor.
Yep, trying to prevent the freeze so he can back. And get his tier, pick it up, and maybe even ghost back to lane, who knows. He's actually not going to take that opportunity. That's their cannon minion wave too, so there was more effective HP in that than most.
Move on the top side, maybe looking for a gank on the cannon, shut down the early snowball. They already shut it down on the bottom side. Talker's backing up. Exile doing a lot of damage. CC moving in. Olaf is here. Exile set to fall. One auto. Are they going to go for it? Revolta's running in. The hero play. Ooh, the sidestep. No second kill going over here. Move now on his way in. Is he going to follow it?
Don't think so, but he's going to actually allow this to push up and relieve the pressure here, prevent a freeze, allow the Cassiopeia and Exile to back on a good timing here, and that makes Talkers want to stick around because he's going to miss a big wave if he actually backs here. So,
I mean, Hylissang is here. Do you think they're going to go for the dive?
They might. They actually might here if he ends up absorbing enough. They have to make sure that Revolta is not around, but I think it's just a standard.
Oh, observers, you're playing with my heart. The fog of war is turned on.
Yeah,
Where are the unicorns?
Yeah, suckers. I can see the tier came in for Cassiopeia. Can't fool me. He's back, you know.
You're cheating. You're breaking the rules, Irene.
Still, the Cassiopeia wants it back for that tier and have a good timing now. There's Talker's delayed on his, so now you get another push in when Exile returns to the lane. Now as we take stock of everything, Caitlyn down 10 CS. Good back here. Oh, the long swords for Veritas.
Classic. One you may remember from the days of Zed being a terror in the
How do I hold all of these? It's physically impossible, but still. Veritas, I'm surprised you didn't go for the Serrated Dirk, because the Serrated Dirk passive that gives you extra damage on the next hit after you kill a minion or a unit is very powerful.
I mean, of course, Zyra not known for, I mean, takes AP, isn't exactly a super tanky threat in the early game. Maybe just looking to push the advantage that he built early, but definitely a question mark. Have to see if that affects any of these trades. And mid lane, you mentioned Cassio gets the tier, of course, Ryze, because he did manage to even out that lane because Unicorns of Love didn't go for the dive, does have his tier and boots as well.
Talkers has a large advantage in this lane, and that's what Revolta's trying to abuse.
That was not the flash you wanted. Exhaust coming out. Veritas in trouble. Sidestepping around the minions. Macau is taking a ton of creep aggro. Lackluster flash, but of course Veritas going to walk away with his life.
Yeah, trying to get a better back timing here because the Tom Kench backed, so they knew that Veritas was alone. They got his flash, so a little bit of an advantage here for INTZ. They do trade the exhaust for it, but now Macau gets to back with a little bit of, I'd say, equal gold to what was backed with for Veritas.
Yeah, you can see relative gold, 1,500 in the inventory. Should be able to pick up that BF sword.
Yeah, I mostly care about the gold spent usually in the early game here. If you back and you can buy like a Fiendish Codex.
Exile going in for the 1v1. Talkers is in trouble. The potential outplay. Talkers does have to burn everything to make it to safety, but cannot dodge the petrifying gaze.
Yep, it's that hard counter. It's the Cassiopeia countering the Rise. It used to be the biggest hard counter to Rise, but now it's not as bad, but it's still crazy. The Cassiopeia, even after multiple nerfs, is just a champion that can 100 to 0.
And so frequently we hear about how people talk about petrifying gaze on such low ping. Easy to sidestep, easy to turn around, but Rise has to face her to cast all of those spells. So, I mean, you have to be ready at a moment's notice to turn around to interrupt your spell cast, and it looks like Talkers was just not prepared for the counter there.
Move going to go top side, actually give away his position here.
Yeah.
Spotted coming in.
Away.
Yeah, just walk away, walk away.
Don't need it. Has the red buff, of course, and doing relatively well, but so far this game has not at all been about the junglers. Has a decent lead in the CS, but we've just been seeing so much action on the bottom side of the map, as well as in the mid lane. I wonder what the next step is for the team.
Right now, it looks like they want to go after Veritas on the bottom side with no flash. Possibly using the Rise ultimate here for Revolta to get in. And Revolta has Ghost. They have to do it pretty soon.
They're going to try to use the movement speed steroid.
No? Okay, I guess it's a duo scuttler, you know, bring along a friend.
Rise wants the extra gold, catch him up. He's already behind in CS, Siren. He needs that extra little boost. I mean, maybe Veritas and, of course, saying are backing off. They don't want to overextend here. Already behind by a decent margin in the early game. 12K to 13.4.
He's going to try to go over. Uses a ward.
Oh, Yang moving forward, kicks him back. Does knock him out of the poppy. Is going to flash, try to make it to safety. Chachi, is he going to continue moving forward on this one? Knocks him up. The CC is coming in. Yang in trouble. Kill going over to Vizichachi, and it's 2-0 in favor of the Unicorns.
And again, Vizichachi gets attention top lane, and they punish Yang for being too far forward and having a winning matchup. That's the thing. Yang has had the better matchup. He's just getting punished by the jungler way sooner.
And it's intense to watch. Of course, Yang so close to making it out of that one, but the Unicorns of Love are so patient there, know the exact limits. Chachi holding on to that ultimate. Solid setup overall. Revolta, of course, going to be happy to pick up all this CS, but Yang has to be feeling frustrated. Should have the lead here and still manages to go down after the pressure from the jungle.
Yeah, and now that's a completely evaporated lead in the top lane. Multiple magic resist items coming in for the top side. And
gets it again. Talkers, there's nothing left for this guy. He's running for his life. The Ghost is up and available, but Exile, he struggled in game 1 and turned it around to bring it back in game 2. Not even going to miss a step.
Yep, and Cassiopeia just getting the ultimate there, and Exile, I mean, he's a rookie. This is his first split.
He came in at one of the most improved mid laners I think we've seen in EU. This man went from Yasuo one trick, dying in side lanes alone, to now dominating mid lane on the international stage. And it's been a huge story of growth for Unicorns of Love this split.
Yeah, he's had a really, really good end of the season, I would say. Looking like a top 3 mid laner in EU.
I mean, there's a lot of famous names. It's going to be a very contested title as we come into next season. But Jockster may be in trouble. Hillisang, once again, looking for a little snack. Ooh, flash is out, but Move is here too. Every member of the Unicorns ready to go in. Does miss the Sonic Wave. Jockster has backup now. Ready to fight. Move has to be careful. Dragon's up and available. Sonic Wave. He's going to make it out to safety. Dragon even nice enough to knock him back into his own jungle.
Barely getting to the other side there. Works out for him. But not really able to catch a break here on the side of INTZ. And it's just more and more falling into the hands of Unicorn. But actually falling into their hands isn't the right way to say it, because they're actually creating these advantages themselves. They're making these plays, and it's not just mistakes from INTZ.
And of course, something we heard from the analyst desk is maybe looking for more of a Lee Sin, more of a Nidalee, these more aggressive picks that are going to come in from Revolta. And we're seeing the Olaf again, of course, an absolute powerhouse, no doubt, but not really seeing any impact from it at all here, and we're already 11 minutes in the game.
Yeah, you would expect him to be able to use that Ghost on cooldown and over again just affect these lanes. Veritas didn't have a flash. Ghost used the Rise ultimate, try to get into that lane. We saw them in a position to possibly do that, and they didn't do that. Even just getting the summoner spells out from your opponent would be a victory there. If Hillisang eats him, flashes away, still worth. But they haven't been making those types of plays here, and INTZ aren't making those trades. Instead, they're wasting their time, because they do that immediately. Move goes to the top side, Yang is now in trouble. And now you have to go and spend the rest of your time on the top side of the map. So now the Unicorns of Love know where your jungler is, know that they can do stuff bottom lane, send people there, get control of that side. And that's the thing, as soon as you let one piece fall out of place, they get to say, okay, you have to go here to protect, like cover up that hole, and then you have to go here afterwards because that's where I'm going to go. And they just lead you around the map like that. And it's a standard strategy in League of Legends, but INTZ still need to be proactive so that they can get that chain going, but in their favor.
And of course, getting back into game here, but something we saw so much of the World's meta in 621 as opposed to 6-18, but still relatively similar, is that it's so hard to get out from these early gold deficits. Tower First Blood hasn't even gone down yet, but with all the pressure Unicorns of Love are putting down, you can expect it to go in their favor, and that small gold lead, I mean 2K pretty large for 12 minutes, is only going to continue to grow unless Exile oversteps, but is saved out there by Hylissang.
Yeah, still use the Ghost though, so well, a little bit unnecessary. And he is going to get away. It's better safe than sorry.
I feel like Hylissang was holding him back. I feel like Exile definitely wanted to kill, someone, and he's like, no, back up. Of course, now getting aggressive on the bottom side, now flashing forward. Hylissang wants a party here, does get the trap down, but that kill belongs to Tom Kent. The bloodthirsty support coming through, 2-0. Oh, Chachi.
No ultimate from Yang here. He's going to have to get the stun.
Coming in, is going to get it. Olaf, of course, immune to CC. Ragnarok goes down. Chachi now set to fall, is trying to make his way to safety. Axe is going to connect. Move makes it the 1-for-1. Revolta going to have to back away.
And you can see that there on the player cam. Yang stepped a little too far forward. He knows it, and a little bit of frustration there, but they're going to try to make a move.
Keep the ball rolling. They're down in gold. They want to bring it back. Talker's going to look for the chain CC. Revolta going to move in. Rise is tanking the tower, but Move is making the moves as he tries to make his way out of this one. I think he's still set to fall. He shields up. Revolta tanks a tower shot. He is going to make it out in the end.
Yeah, and Zyra's up here as well, so the Cassiopeia can't just come up there to the top side, but that might be first turret still going over to Unicorns Love at the bottom.
Gonna get that first brick, all important. Maintaining their gold lead and now making it even larger. 650 gold going over to Veritas already with a sizable lead on the bottom side. And they're gonna continue pushing forward here.
Yep, that's gonna give them control of the top side and the bottom side here. That red buff is almost up. The Unicorns want it back ahead of time because they know, oh, Cassiopeia's on the top side, Exile sees nobody, so where are they? Well, they have to be bottom side, process of elimination.
And while INTZ have been able to get a few good kills here, trading back and forth on the top side, making that aggressive dive, it is feeling a lot like the first game where Unicorns of Love are building these strong leads. And as we take a look at this replay, you can see INTZ, though, they're not done yet.
Yeah, INTZ, no, they still have a lot of fight in them. Right here, though. Yep. Just barely, and this is actually really good. Talkers gets a great ultimate onto the backside, and Zyra was there to hold.
Talker is not what you want.
You got the flash off, though.
One more shot. Oh, the true curtain call. 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy to knock him down. Shockster trying to clear the waves. Hylissang is not concerned about the tower, and Jockster not paying the respect to the 80 carry on the Unicorns of Love. Veritas with the double kill.
And making great use of that Tom Kench and the tankiness that he has, as well as that gray health. And now they're going to get another turret here in UOL. If you stick around here as INTZ, you're still in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. 5K gold lead, 14 minutes in. This is domination in favor of the Unicorns of Love. CS leads across the board, 135 to 105 in the mid lane, 134 to 99 on the bottom side. And potentially even more shocking, Poppy with the lead on the top side, despite what should have been a very rough matchup.
Yeah, and when you look at what Unicorns of Love are doing, just their kill participation in this game and in the last game, it's just everybody is doing well in these games. Everybody is contributing a whole lot. Nobody has more than 3 to 4 kills that they've participated in, and that's 50%. But hold on.
Chachi potentially in trouble. Revolta moving in, rinsing and repeating on the top side. Hylissang is on the way as he brought anyone with him. INTZ just going to back away. Proto Belt used.
Yeah, they brought him here, but this might be just another person to die, because here comes the Zyra and here comes Macau.
Maybe looking for a little more. Chachi gonna hit the stun. Yang maybe looking to move forward. INTZ just wanting to get the turret. Chachi not gonna hit anyone there. We'll knock the creeps away.
Gives enough time though, because now when the next wave hits, Exile will be in range here, but he's actually just going to run back towards the mid lane because they think that INTZ are going to have to respond bottom and send somebody back.
Yeah, Veritas is already pushing on the bottom side. Exile is going to be able to clear out these waves earlier or easily. INTZ need to make something happen here. Not going to connect at all with the Zyra plants. Just doing a little bit of damage.
Yeah, meanwhile, Veritas, easy mode on the bottom side of the map here. Talkers.
Rise does have his ghost available. Can move in. Veritas is just going to move forward. Oh!
He was trying to juke him with it. He thought he would run backwards, and he didn't.
Not even concerned. He's like, oh, I'll take the 1v1 after I take the tower.
Yeah, plus it's his last shot as well. gives him some extra movement speed. He had flash available, so Veritas, he would have finished the tower anyway. Maybe he would have gotten ghosted down, but still.
And this gold lead just continues to grow. 7K in their favor. Exile wants to make it even more. The snare not even going to connect. Tries to throw out the ult, and it goes just wide.
It's a good sign, though, for INTZ. They almost have the cannon ultimate back up here. That top turret, though, it's going to be hard to get an inside track on it here.
Already with a 3-tower lead. Yang running forward, clearing out the waves with the Proto Belt. That's Chachi straight too far, doesn't look like it. Talker's looking for some revenge here. Exile, of course, no ultimate. There's just nothing you can do. He's just too strong. Exile picks up another kill, 2-0 and 3.
You're 2 levels down. You're trying to duel this Cassiopeia that's already a hard counter to you. He has both summoner spells available as well in the Cassiopeia. There's zero reason to actually go for that if you don't have any help.
Abyssal Scepter, no pen on the side of Rise, of course, opting for the cooldown boots. It's just not going to work out for Talkers. He tries to force it anyway, looks for an outplay, just isn't going to find it.
And this Unicorns of Love team, they're already looking for next year, but they're also looking at this IEM. Unicorns of Love don't have a trophy in their case. They have a Challenger trophy, but ever since they've joined the EULCS, 5th place, 4th place, 2nd place one time, at 5th place, 6th place. They keep ending up making playoffs, but they're still middle of the pack European team. They want to break away from that. They've had a split now with Veritas, Exile, Move in the roster. They revamped it with 2 of the old members. And now Unicorns of Love, this is the time for them to start going into 2017 saying we are a strong team that needs to be taken very seriously and put Europe back on the map as well, because Europe's showing at Worlds, they took a step back from 2015.
Hey man, we still made it to semis.
I know, I know. Wasn't 2 teams though.
Wasn't 2 teams. And of course, I mean, teams need to be looking to compete, and Unicorns of Love, so often in the offseason we see massive roster shuffles. Not the story for the Unicorns of Love. They rebuilt the team around Hylissang, around Chachi, and surprisingly Exile, this unknown name, coming in to make big for them.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love made a roster shuffle in summer, brought some new people in, and that's what they're saying is, they are a team that is based on teamwork, not essentially individual mechanical skill or talent. They really just want to be a unit. They want to be a great team, and that's what they've been working on. If you keep swapping your roster up, well, you're never going to get there. It's going to take too long, and they've took this split, and they've taken the time to actually get to this point, and just want to know if it's enough to take down INTZ to make the semis and test their mettle against TSM.
And it looks like they may just do that. 9K gold lead in their favor. Chachi pressuring in on the bottom side. Unicorns of Love, all of the jungle belongs to them, and the map is steadily shrinking for INTZ where they can move safely. I mean, it's almost nowhere. Olaf, of course, the Ragnarok to keep him safe, but if that falls off cooldown, Unicorns of Love may be able to just pick that kill up. Talker's going to do his best to clear the waves here, but it's just so terrifying for him to approach alone.
Yeah, even approach as a team at this point. If you just think of the average levels that are going on here, it's junglers are even, top laners are even, mid lane 2 behind. AD carry 2 behind for INTZ. And that's going to buff up your minions too. Can't forget about that. When the average level is higher, you get slight buffs on your minions, so your side lanes will always shove on Unicorns of Love side, so that gives them more time to do things like the Baron, to set up objectives easier, because it's naturally shoving lanes.
And of course, gold, I mean, we just have to look at the way this affects the gold leads too. Levels have the independent gold value for the stats they give, for the damage they add to your abilities, so already the gold lead approaching 10K. If we take into account the value of the levels, it's definitely there. Now Chachi, maybe in trouble here, is going to have to flash to save if there's so much CC. Nice sidestep, has the red buff, but the cannon ult is coming in. Chachi is set to fall here. INTZ taking the steps to bring it back into this game, and they are going to be able to pick up the top laner on the Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Unicorns of Love. They lose their top laner, they lose their flash, and everybody else was back, so they couldn't do anything like set up a Baron. Usually during that time, the top laner just runs around, tries to waste as much of the enemy's time as possible on multiple people so that you can get something, but everybody was back.
And of course, that is something we saw in Game 1 from Chachi as well. Some small missteps, leading potentially to some unnecessary deaths, but of course, Unicorns of Love don't seem to be phased, don't really need to be. Still have that massive lead. INTZ slowly crawling back here, but UOL taking control of the Baron area, and I think this is going to be the next big focus point.
Yeah, both teams are going to want to get to this Baron area. UOL to push their lead, and INTZ to prevent the snowball and possibly get a steal. And we see Vizichachi, going back to that, shove up that far. It's usually because he might be looking for a TP play on the other side of the map, or he's just trying to prevent a freeze from somebody who's behind. Well, he's preventing the freeze there from Kennen, because if he freezes, then what's the Poppy going to do? Has to run to the other side of the map and try to make something happen. But everybody else is back, so it took the risk. It turns out 3 people were there, but unlucky. Infernal Drake's up, though, so actually I think most people are going to run towards that now with the Baron being covered.
Much safer to take Of course, Unicorns of Love don't really have to be worried about INTZ burning it down. No real tools available to do that. Rise, of course, nice damage output, but Caitlyn just too far behind to really make an impact. Still working towards that initial Infinity Edge. Moving Veritas should be able to cruise this one out quite easily. Chachi playing guard over the side of the wall.
Veritas also goes armor penetration with the Omos immediately into a rapid fire cannon. Usually you'll see another penetration item second, like a Duskblade, but he goes for more range to actually do something about the Caitlyn, a little bit of movement speed to help himself out, and that crit, which this build usually neglects because you have a fourth shot that's always a crit, and you will usually get an Infinity Edge last item, but he's augmenting it slightly.
Of course, with a massive lead and the lead in levels as well, the proc is going to do a pretty large chunk of damage.
True.
Talkers potentially in trouble. Unicorns of Love look to be getting aggressive. Veritas is going to bust out the curtain call. Talkers is going to try to use the ult to escape. Yes, Realm Orb takes him to safety. Yang, though, has to back off. INTZ burning skills left and right just to make it to safety.
And is the curtain called? They know that Poppy doesn't have the flash, but otherwise everything else in the entire game is just up right now. The teleports, the exhausts, the flashes, so... INTZ, you know, they're in a good position to have a team fight for themselves, but it has to be they pick off a Cassiopeia or Jhin quickly, or somebody's out of position.
Oh, Chachi, he wants more. Talker's caught out. Exile! That was an ult to end a game, and Macau is running for his life. Revolta may be safe, but the rest of his team is not. Beautiful, petrifying gaze.
Amazing play there from Exile. Unicorns of Love end up going for the fight. Yang isn't there. He doesn't have the Proto Belt active either. There's no way for the Kennen to turn that fight.
We're just going to have to pause just to take that in. That was a beautiful ult coming in from the Cassio. That was destruction. INTZ, this is not looking good for them. And, I mean, I didn't even see a pick opportunity there, but Chachi sees the wall, sees the setup, knows he can take down the Rise, and capitalizes on it. Such massive confidence coming in. We'll look at this replay, and I mean, Chachi, just watch the Cassio.
Oh, three-man stun there. Talkers takes the damage as well. The follow-up on top of the miasma. Macau can't even flash until then. It's already too late. Twin Fang, the poison's already on him. And now you see Yang finally walk up, but beautiful play there.
And you talked about it, Cyrene. It's not about the mechanical skill for these guys. They have strong mechanical players, but it's about the team play, and the perfect chain of CC there is a great example of what that can do for your squad. And Unicorns of Love, this Baron is free for them to take, and the gold lead continues to grow 11K in their favor.
Yeah, it was an absolutely just game-changing or game-accelerating for UOL's side of things since they're already so far ahead. The flash ultimate there from Exile just perfectly executed. And that gives them the Baron. 3 levels up on the mid laner, 3 levels up AD carry-wise, and UOL is looking to dominate possibly another 27-minute game for themselves, 26 minutes.
It's definitely taking that course. 2-0-2 the score for the AD carry, 3-0-5 for the mid lane. Somehow 3-0-3 for the Tahm Kench support as he continues to eat everything in his path.
That's why they've been picking it. It's just working out really well for Hylissang. He does a ton of damage on it. He's been using that ultimate really efficiently and effectively. He's had his roams on point.
And of course, when we looked at the Worlds meta coming in, we expected a lot of Tahm Kench, the potential for the ult, the global mobility, and it just wasn't a high priority there. But here now in 621, looks like Hylissang is quite comfortable to pick it up. They first rotation to last game, and it's overall just been a solid pick for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it should have been punished by the Caitlyn Zyra, just 100% should have been punished. They get the flash early off of that, and then they end up punishing Jockster when he goes for the invade to try and stop the level 1 Grump. That's just the lane right there. That's a lot of this game, is that advantage you're supposed to have in the draft from INTZ. This is gone, and now's a flank TP.
Coming in, chance from behind, this could be it. Doing his best Smev impression, trying to get what he can, but it's just not going to be effective. Yang, you have bitten off more than you can chew in. Exile, just going to continue to clean up. Hylissang going to deliver him into the middle of the team. Say here, have another one, but it's Hylissang who's on a rampage. The double kill drops for Exile, and just a beautiful play there to turn around that engage.
And now just clearing out the mid lane and the top lane, simultaneously pushing the minions up. They're going to get so much off of this. UOL, 20 seconds on the death timers for INTZ.
Trying to beat their own record for game end time after game 1. They're moving in. They are set to take the second game. They are set to face TSM tomorrow. Are they going to be able to close? Death timers counting down, 2 seconds for Jockster, counting down for Yang, for Talkers, for Macau. Revolta too far away. Unicorns of Love, a confident 2-0 coming in over INTZ to face TSM tomorrow.
absolutely convincing play there from Unicorns. Domination, start to finish, especially in this game. A 25-minute victory, less than an hour. Best of 3. Incredible there.
That's what we were joking about. Like, Zyrian would never get a cast together. It's like, well, apparently that's the status quo, because there's just no time on the desk this time around. But Unicorns of Love, we had to wonder, INTZ, what steps they were going to take, how they were going to change after the World's performance, and you know, looking a little bit rocky. Unicorns of Love, the even bigger question mark. It had been so long since we'd seen this lineup, and they are looking better than ever, but the real test remains for them tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's such a great way to put it as well, is this test. Because Unicorns of Love, we don't know where